Hello everyone, my name is Daisy Maldonado, and today I will be talking about teaching children basic manners and structure, whether that be your own children, your students, etc. No matter what the case may be, I'm sure you will find some tips in here that you will find helpful. So, objectives. These are just a few goals that we want to be able to accomplish after the lesson. So after the lesson, the child will be able to develop skills in acknowledging how others feel, learning great socializing skills. So we want children to take into consideration how others are feeling, whether it be because of something they may have done to make them feel that way, or maybe something the other child or person may just be feeling, but we want them to be caring and learn how to communicate effectively. And then we want them to feel more comfortable with others and help break out of their shell if necessary. So we want children to break out of their comfort zones, work through shyness if that's necessary, and just be comfortable speaking and being around others. And then you want to establish good listening skills that they will continue to expand as they grow older. So you want children to be patient and listen when others are speaking, as they also make sure to understand and listen to what is being said. So you want to make sure that they're not interrupting, that they're not talking over you, just focused and paying attention. That way, if you wanted them to repeat or, go back to what was being said, they know exactly what happened. And then we also want them to learn basic manners and remember, please, excuse me, sharing, etc. Okay, so when we look at this picture, what comes to mind as to what they are doing? Sharing, right? That is one of the biggest things that we must teach children. We too often see how children are crying or they're fighting because the other has had a toy for too long and they won't share it, or because sometimes kids are like, no, well, it's my toy, so nobody else could use it, even when it's not being used. So we want children to understand that sharing is a very important factor in day-to-day life and just start getting them used to it from a very young age. Okay, so manners, sharing. Why is it important? So when we share with others, we make them feel good and it makes them happy. So as children, they love being able to see new toys or new activities, and that's why sharing matters so much. It helps others feel good. So how does it make you feel when someone isn't being polite or sharing with you? So we want children to understand that when they aren't being nice, it really does affect and hurt others' feelings. And we want them to understand that we don't want to be the reason why somebody else is having a bad day or got upset. We also want them to understand, for example, if they have a new toy, then it's always nice to share, especially if it's not being used. You often see how kids, they'll have a new toy and they put it down and then they see somebody else, another child going and, trying to play with it, and then all of a sudden they want to play with it again. So you want to make sure that they understand that sharing is very important, and it ties down to treating others how you would want to be treated. So I'm going to go ahead and play this video and show an example of treating others the way you want to be treated. Here it is. Okay, so as you see, when one person makes fun of another and it somehow seems to turn into like a cycle, but you want to teach them to always be the bigger person, and regardless if that person wasn't the nicest to you, let's not go down to their level and always be kind, making sure that others are okay. So we want our children to just understand if you were treated a certain way and you didn't like it, don't follow in and do the same thing. Instead, let's be better.
Providing structure. So you want to set limits for behavior that is unacceptable, use rewards for good behavior and manners, use appropriate consequences for bad behavior. So a reward doesn't always have to be materialistic, it doesn't have to be toys, it doesn't have to be money. It can just be something like a fun activity that they enjoy doing, maybe going to the park, eating their favorite food, getting to watch TV for a few extra minutes that night, getting extra computer time that night, anything your child may enjoy. It's also important to remember to reward them as soon as possible for the action that you are praising. You may also turn it into a system where you put points into place, maybe if you set a limit to like 3 points, and that's when they get rewarded. Every 3 points, they get a reward. And for consequences, you want to make sure that it's nothing too harsh. It can be something as simple as no screen time for the day, or taking away their favorite toy for the day. And consequences do not have to go on for days. Usually just the remainder of the day is more than enough.
Okay, now basic manners. So this will consist of please, thank you, may I, and excuse me. And then learn to apologize when it is necessary, and also have good eye contact. So it's very important for manners to be taught to children from a young age, and for you to also lead by example. You want to always make sure to use please, thank you, may I, and excuse me. You want children to be able to demonstrate appreciation for what is being done or given to them. You also want them to show empathy and respect. Learning to apologize and understand when they are wrong is key. So I often see how children, they'll make another child upset or just someone else upset, and they'll have a difficult time apologizing because they don't want to go ahead and accept the blame. So the sooner we get them to recognize what is wrong and take responsibility for their actions, the better. And then last, we want to make sure that they learn eye contact and carry that on throughout their lives. Eye contact is very important as it demonstrates engagement and also respect. Okay, so next I have an activity that I would like for all of you to try. It's called reverse roles. So what you do is you reverse the roles of the children and adults during dinner. Have each adult and older child do one or two things that are obviously bad manners, and give each younger child a point for calling them out and stating what they should have done. When you play this game, make sure that bad manners don't hurt anyone or damage property. So this is just a fun way to turn a lesson into a fun activity, which makes it easier and a better experience for them. They'll also learn to associate proper etiquette with something positive, and this will make them want to continue with the good behavior.
So one of the last things that we are going to go ahead and talk about is going to be helping a child break out of their comfort zone. So what you want to do is you want to be a model for confident behavior. You want to teach social skills from an early age. You want to support their social confidence and always provide positive reinforcement. So you want to be able to be a model, as I mentioned earlier, always lead by example. Kids really pay attention as to what you do and they follow along. So always remember that you are their role model and they are following your steps and picking up on your actions. And then you want to teach them social skills at the earliest age that's possible. And this can be as simple as just setting up a play date for them. And as they grow older, you want to teach them how to find their own way of socializing and encouraging them for, can I play too? And then always make sure that you are supporting their social confidence. You don't want to force them into uncomfortable situations, especially without a warning. And last, providing positive reinforcement will help build their self-esteem and confidence. So as we've reached the end of the presentation, there are a few things I want you to go ahead and think about. 1, what did this help you learn? 2, how do you think you will use this as they grow older? And 3, what stood out to you the most? One thing to always remember is that each child is different and they will each require different amounts of time and attention. No child is going to be the same, and some may need more help than others, but it's up to you to figure out how you will choose to approach it and what works best for both you and the child.